on kindness. Kindness is easily dismissed as too simple a theme for philosophy, as if it belonged to the nursery or the sermon rather than the forum of thought. Yet the simple things, when placed under the gaze of reflection, disclose their depth. Kindness is one such thing. It comes quietly, needing no announcement. It requires neither brilliance nor cunning. It does not demand applause. But if one were to remove kindness from the world, if every hand that helps were stilled, every word of encouragement silenced, every patient glance extinguished, then the world would collapse into unbearable severity. Kindness is the hidden element, without which existence becomes harsh, brittle, unlivable. The peculiarity of kindness is that it always exceeds necessity. It is not the mere fulfillment of duty, nor the cold impartiality of justice. It is gratuitous, uncalculated, freely given. To fulfill an obligation is one thing. To respond with kindness is another. The nurse may be obligated to tend the wound, but to touch the patient's hand and say, "You are not alone," this belongs to the realm of kindness. The clerk may be obligated to serve the customer, but to smile and ask about their day, this belongs to kindness. It arises precisely in the surplus, in the extra gesture, in the refusal to reduce the human encounter to efficiency alone. Because it is gratuitous, kindness carries the character of gift. It does not insist on reciprocity, though sometimes it awakens gratitude in return. It is not calculated according to merit, though sometimes it meets merit halfway. It is unearned, and therefore it surprises. That is why kindness feels like grace. One is not owed it, yet suddenly it appears, like water in a desert, like shade at noon. Its power lies in this surprise, for it reminds us that life is not exhausted by struggle or contract. Something free still stirs within it. It is important to distinguish kindness from mere niceness. Niceness can be the mask of conformity, the pleasantness that avoids conflict, the smile that hides indifference. Niceness does not necessarily care, but kindness cares. It may come wrapped in gentleness, but it may also come with firmness. To tell the truth when a lie would be easier can be an act of kindness. To withhold judgment, when judgment is deserved, can be an act of kindness. It is not defined by manner alone, but by the intent to affirm the dignity and well-being of the other. Niceness is social lubricant. Kindness is moral substance. One of the reasons kindness escapes philosophical attention is that it resists codification. Justice can be measured, courage admired, prudence taught, but kindness slips between categories. It cannot be commanded without ceasing to be what it is. One can legislate fairness, but not kindness. This is why political orders so often neglect it. They can only recognize what they can enforce. Yet human life is not sustained by justice alone. Justice establishes the floor, the boundary of what must not be transgressed. But kindness fills the space above the floor, transforming bare survival into livable community. Justice prevents the worst. Kindness enables the best. Kindness has a peculiar temporality. Consider the small kindnesses: a driver slowing to let another merge, a passerby holding the door, a neighbor offering food. These gestures are minute, yet they shape the atmosphere in which we live. Without them, life becomes cold, mechanical; with them, life is warmed. It is not that they erase the great evils of the world, but they create pockets of humanity in which endurance becomes possible. A civilization without kindness might still function, but it would become uninhabitable. There is also kindness toward oneself. This is often neglected, as if kindness were always directed outward. But one who cannot be kind to oneself will struggle to be kind to others. Self-kindness is not indulgence. It is not excusing one's faults or refusing growth. It is the recognition that one is human, finite, fragile, and that to demand perfection is to crush the soul. To rest when weary, to forgive when failing, to nourish the body and mind, these are acts of kindness to oneself, and they prepare the ground for kindness to others. For only from a place of inward gentleness can outward gentleness flow. Kindness also has an ontological dimension. It discloses something about the nature of being itself. For when kindness is experienced, one feels not only affirmed by another person, but affirmed by life. It is as if the world itself through this gesture has said, "You belong, you matter. Your existence is good." Cruelty makes the world feel alien, hostile, meaningless. Kindness reconciles us to the fact of being. It reminds us that existence is not only arbitrary or violent, but capable of grace. This is why kindness often carries a sense of sacredness. It is a glimpse into the deep benevolence woven through reality, however hidden it may otherwise seem. Kindness is never wasted. Even if it is not received, even if it is mocked, even if it is unnoticed, it carries its own worth. For the act itself changes the one who performs it. Each kindness strengthens the disposition toward kindness, forming the soul into a shape more attuned to love. And though the world may not acknowledge it, the kind person lives in a richer world, a world less governed by suspicion, and more open to grace. To act kindly is to inhabit a different reality, one not determined solely by competition or fear. If philosophy seeks wisdom, and wisdom is the art of living well, then kindness belongs at the center of philosophy. For what life could be considered wise if it lacks kindness? Knowledge without kindness breeds arrogance. Power without kindness becomes tyranny. Courage without kindness hardens into cruelty. Even love, if it lacks kindness, risks becoming possessive or manipulative. Kindness is what purifies the virtues, preventing them from curving into vice. It is the hidden companion of all that is truly good. And so the invitation of kindness is not to grand gestures, though sometimes those may come, but to the continual practice of the small. To notice, to listen, to bless, to forgive. These acts do not shake the earth, but they steady the ground beneath our feet. They do not win the battles of history, but they preserve the humanity of those who must endure history. And perhaps that is the greater victory. For kingdoms rise and fall, but kindness sows seeds that outlast empires. To be kind is to live as if the human heart were still worthy of faith.